Hey yo, what's good? What's going on, everyone, everywhere? Look, it is late, so I'm gonna try to get through this video as quick as possible, but also giving y'all a lot of good, packed, juicy information. Okay, without further ado, let's go and hop into it. Okay, might-based DPS for electricity. A lot of y'all been requesting, a lot of y'all been asking. Make sure you like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Leave a comment what you want me to show, okay, and showcase. So for our weapon mods, blast adapter with the rifle tap is incredibly amazing with all might-based powers. I recommend it 10 out of 10. Head socket, circuit breaker, because we're electricity. Come on, we're gonna use circuit breaker. Next socket, we're gonna use escalating might. Back socket, I recommend berserker, but you can substitute arc lightning for the AoE melee loadout. Sorry, y'all. Had a little bit of a blonde moment. Anyways, chest, we're gonna use penetrating strikes. Legs, you can use spark barrage, but I don't even use spark barrage in any of the loadouts, so it's really on you. Feet socket, we're gonna use dashing combos. If you're not super speed, put in tumbling mastery, you'll be fine. Hands, we're gonna use max damage. And affinity mods, type A and B are the only ones that really matter for DPS, so just put in might for a 2% increase. Now, in terms of our trinkets, I'll use tier 3 pet, buff trinket, and backup. Have the 4th slot open and available to quickly swap in and out of for, your supply drop and your orbital with the philosopher's stone and deck sector right there for the swaps. Alright, in terms of our artifacts, we got transformation card, strategist card, and I like to use to make a hedron, especially this loadout is more for boss, well not boss, ads on your way to the boss, what I meant to say. So Omega Hedron is fantastic for that. If your healer is okay with it and it is good enough to keep you alive, Amulet is better than Omega Hedron just because Omega Hedron at most gives you 10% might, Amulet gives you 30. Definitely keep that in consideration. While running, Quizlet is another alternative that you could use as all around a good one, especially when you hit your circuit breaker. Now, if you have an EOG spam healer in the group, I recommend to use Aya Gemini just because it will be a little bit better. That pretty much more constant 5% might increase plus the nice little 20% of damage right there is going to be very helpful. It's definitely something you can swap in and out of with and just keep the Mega Hedron for the additional 10% might buff. Okay, so keep all those in consideration. Now, when we come over to allies, Cyborg is one of the better ones for AoE. You can use Flashpoint Batman, he's another good one. Future Lex Luthor is another good one, okay? Superman is the best one, but I don't have Superman in this character, nor do I really want him at the time. So, in terms of our support allies, mind you, this is more for the hallways leading up to bosses, for that kind of content, so keep that in mind. We're going to use the From the Shadows support ability from Batman here, especially on entering combat for 6 hits, which is going to be a good amount of damage right there. We're going to get some might increase, as well as the Death Metal Batman. We're going to use Cloak of Ensnare because we're going to keep rolling on our way to the next enemies. Okay, this is going to proc all the time since we are entering and exiting combat from the different ad groups, and this we're gonna make it proc by just rolling on the next way, okay, or rolling to the next group on our way to the next group is what I meant to say. Now, if you're doing more sustained fighting, let's say it's just like Source Wall raid and multiple bosses and whatnot, definitely use the Batman Who Laughs and replace them for Batman. The luck of the draw is a much better sustained DPS fight buff than Batman's going to give you, okay? Now, in terms of our spec with our skill points, rifle, like I said, get the weapon mastery. If you just want to do some more on your rifle taps, only if you have high enough skill points. You don't need all these right here. So the only ones you need in terms of your movement, especially for super speed in particular, get your, your go fast speed force and come down and get Whirling Dervish. You can get Vortex Trap as well if you would like, but Whirling Dervish. Some people like to use Speed Drain. to proc EOG a little bit more, but it is on you. Now, in terms of iconic powers, you don't need all the ones in this. Keep that in mind, okay? Robot Sidekick, Pheromone Bloom if you want to use it to, do EOG a little bit more, and Super Strength if you just want your weapon to have to do a slight smidget more damage. It's barely noticeable, so do not make a big deal about it. But definitely, Robot Sidekick is pretty much the only mandatory one out of this group. Now, if you're doing more EOG spamming and you want to manipulate them, you can't even get Neo Venom Boost. Okay, or take the Robot Sidekick out and just use Circuit Breaker and Neo Venom Boost. That's an insane combo, so definitely try that out if you're able to do it. Now, in terms of our stat points, we can use Focus Superpowered right here. For especially that 10% might is nice, and the power generation power is fantastic as well. Critical attack chance, critical attack damage are the two that you want to spec into first. Then dump everything else in the might and power. If you have anything left over, I'll do an even split between precision and health. Some people do advocate for you to put more health, so you can do a 2-to-1 ratio, like 2 out of 3, and this is the 1/3. Okay, I like to get the ones at least for the just a little bit of extra stats. Keep on top of everything, especially with Arc Lightning. Got a little bit more precision. Our weapon tabs give a little more bite to get a little more power, like a little bit more dominance, so we can stun something up maybe. All right, but those do not matter whatsoever at all. I just like do it because I have excess of skill points at the moment. So yeah. Now, in terms of the range loadout for AoE, it's pretty much going to be the same loadout we have all known and loved for the end, probably till the end of time. I'll be honest. This loadout's been out for many years and it's not changed whatsoever at all. So the most consistent damage in DC is right here. This loadout. This loadout is going to get you about 200,000 to 210 on the high end. Okay. Well, that's without any buffs. So clearly, if you buff it in any way, it's going to do more. Pop a supercharge, supply drop, buff trinket. Use your roll to get 10% buff, whatever. All that is going to increase this loadout's damage much more. But this loadout is as follows: Arc Lightning, Electrogenesis, Tesla Ball, Electrocute, Voltaic Blast, and Circuit Breaker. I want to touch on something real quick about these dots. Excuse the dog in the background. Electrogenesis is the best dot, the damage over time dot that electricity has to offer right now. It has phenomenal damage. You can use it in any situation. It's the best dot in every situation. When it comes to AoE, single target, or something in between. Alright? Electrogenesis is the way to go. Tesla Ball is good, but Electrostatic Bomb is better than Tesla Ball. Now, Electrostatic Bomb is not better than Electrogenesis, though. Even if you spam this like crazy within 10-second parser, Electrogenesis does a lot more damage than Electrostatic Bomb, even with the polarized power action going. Electrogenesis is built like that. It is different. Alright. Tesla Ball is nice and it's still a fantastic thing to use. I love the fact that it damages and stuns enemies, so it's fantastic there. Electrocute is pretty decent. I would like to be better, but in terms of this loadout right here, Electrostatic Bomb doesn't do the greatest for this loadout, but Electrostatic Bomb and Electrocute does about the same damage, put it like that. So you're more than welcome to switch these two out. But Electrocute will do a little bit more damage based on the fact that we are having electrify power action instead of the polarized. Because as you saw on our artifacts, if we want the polarized, we will have to use something like Grim, which you're more than welcome to use. But I'm letting you know it works best at least. Now, in terms of the rotation of this particular loadout, all you would do is always come back to come back to Arc Lightning. So you'll do pretty much left to right, and it goes as follows: Arc Lightning, one of the dots, Voltaic Blast. arc lightning, another one of the dots, voltaic blast, arc lightning, another dot, voltaic blast. You see a pattern? It's pretty consistent. It will take a second to build up, but once it does, you're gonna pretty much hit 200k very consistently. Okay. See, 204. Bam. So that is the ranged AoE loadout right there. When it comes to the melee, you know it's gonna go down. This is the one I hit 250,000 per second on. I thought that was pretty good. So let me definitely show y'all something I forgot to show y'all, which is the might. I'm at 150,291 might. Okay, precision, as you see there, 58,609. I got 258,464 health, and my CR is 377. Okay, for those who care to know. All the spec is the same. It don't matter. Okay. The loadout is going to be as following: arc lightning, electrogenesis, voltaic blast, whirling dervish, robot sidekick, circuit breaker. I do want to touch on one thing. Electro burst and voltaic blast pretty much do the same damage, very similar damage, I would have to say. Electro burst does pretty much slightly more damage than voltaic blast, but because of the animation and the cooldown, it does not work the best in this loadout. So I definitely want to keep that in mind for everyone. Okay, that coupled with the fact that the amount of damage that this does is pretty much what voltaic blast does when it's electrified enemies. Okay, it's literally just like hairs difference, more stronger, but you know, just letting y'all know and be aware. Now this one is pretty much a left to right rotation. All right, now you can mess this up. I'm sorry guys, but I'm doing a video. You can mess it up slightly if you get it out, but just know there is a slight delay, as you saw right there, between voltaic blast and whirling dervish, because it's used to, you know, electrogenesis coming in and hit. So keep that in mind. You're gonna hit 200k, and then you're gonna scale up as your strategist cards and stuff are, you know, ramping. When strategist cards keeps going, I hit the 250,000 per second when I think 3 or 4 of the sparring targets had the strategist card procced on them. Okay, I didn't have any of the buffs or anything like that. I did have the Hedron on, so yeah. Now, in terms of our single target, I'm gonna give you 2 loadouts. One I already made a video on, so you should already know this loadout here. Check out my video if you want me to talk. Check out my other video if you want me to talk more in depth on it. But I will give you a slight variant as well. For the single target loadout, the artifacts are just gonna be solar amplifier instead of Hedron. So yeah, everything else is pretty much the same. And if you want more single target consistent damage, use Crypto. He's the best ally. If you don't have Crypto, you can use House Legends Spot still. Lex Luthor does good on AoE for bosses, so keep that in consideration if you need that. Death Metal Batman for Cloak and Snare, and Luck of the Draw with Batman Who Laughs are going to be 2 support abilities. Like I said, make sure you just keep rolling, and Luck of the Draw is good for boss fights, sustained damage. So Amplified Heat Vision, Electrogenesis, Tornado Pool, Ionic Drain, Robot Sidekick, and Circuit Breaker. I know that was a little bit of a mouthful. I'm trying to get through this quickly so the video's not too long. Alright, I've already showed y'all this. This loadout does a lot of damage, and I beat out a lot of other people with this here in single target wise. I beat out Gadgets before using this. All you're gonna do is pretty much go left to right, and then after that use Tornado Pool in between Ionic Drain and Heat Vision, and then go back left to right once the electrogenesis comes back up, okay? So after ionic drain here, then you go back to the tornado pool, then you hit heat vision. Don't just hit heat vision, you'll be losing out on some damage. Once you start ramping it up, you're gonna hit about 100K, and then the mode, I forgot what I hit with it. I said it in the other video, but I believe it's up there almost close to 120, if not more. But yeah, my memory doesn't fail me. I think it was like 115 per second, something like that, or 125. I remember there was a 5 in there. But yeah, it does a lot of damage actually. So that's something you can definitely use. If you need it to be a little more AoE, because I know most people used to use this right here, but Tesla Ball does not do that great anymore. So I'll recommend that you pretty much do it like this. Use Electrogenesis instead. Arc Lightning is still fantastic because it pretty much hit about, like, for me, it hits about like 70 to 80. I'll say 75 to 80 for the first person to hit. Then the surrounding people will get like 30 to 40,000 per hit, okay? For the other people around, the secondary damage, as opposed to some like Voltaic Blast. Voltaic Blast is a good alternative, but you're pretty much gonna hit like 60 for, you know, like 2 to 3 people. If it's one person, you're gonna hit a little bit higher, almost at 100K mark. And if it's a lot of people, it's good, but Arc Lightning will do more, okay? Because if it's like the 5 people, you're gonna hit like 40s. So what this does secondary is what this does normally. So keep that in mind, all right? And I've already said that Tesla Ball is good, but it's like the 3rd best dot. This is the 1st best, okay, by far. So keep that in mind. Okay, if you want to see that, you're pretty much left to right yet again. And I would even just go left to right. You don't have to sit here and cycle Arc Lightning in between Ionic Drain and Heat Vision. You can just go straight left to right. Pretty good. Now, I saw a lot of people posting loadouts and relying heavily on critting. They had what, Arc Lightning and Tesla Blast in the mix. I will say Tesla Blast is good. Voltaic Blast hits about the same. Tesla Blast can get you like, is there like maybe like 100 more damage even in critting than Voltaic Blast does. I use Voltaic Blast because I see it hit higher more consistently than Tesla Blast does. So keep that in consideration. But this is more of a crit heavy loadout, and I personally don't recommend it because I don't see it hit like that. I don't see it hit the same numbers that I'm able to hit on my loadout of this. Okay, Electrogenesis with Tornado Pool. For those who don't know, Tornado Pool hits harder than Tesla Blast and Voltaic Blast. Alright, it does hit harder. So keep that in consideration. Let me know if this information was helpful to you. Let me know how these loadouts are doing for you. And look, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so please hit the subscribe button. Make sure you put post notifications on. I do monthly giveaways and random giveaways as well that will sometimes be dependent on that notification bell. Sometimes it's first come, first serve, so be ready for that. And at 1,000 subscribers, I will also say that we are doing a giveaway of 10 DC Universe Online memberships. It is not platform nor server specific, so it's for anyone. It will come out of my own pocket once we get to 1,000 subs. That is our goal right now, so please help us get to that goal. We already reached over 600 subscribers right now at the time of this recording, so thank you for everyone that has subscribed thus far. And look, without further ado, y'all be safe. Y'all keep it easy. Let me know something in the comment section down below. Shalom.